What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a fundamental trader, or if you have watched some of the fundamental strategies which I've shared on my channel, then this would have been the best week you've made money in forex trading. Or this month of August, this is just the middle of August, right? This month of August would have been the best month you've made money in forex trading for the entire 2022, and I'm going to show you guys why. All right, just take for example, last week Friday we had NFP, right? We had NFP, and NFP was one of the best NFPs I've seen since from the beginning of the year. At the same time we're having NFP, we also have employment change for the Canadian dollar. That was still one of the best news events I've seen for the entire year. In line with that, I want to talk about the top most important fundamental news events in forex trading, or the top 5 most important fundamental news events in forex trading. These are fundamental news events that anytime I see that particular news event, I already know at the back of my mind that 95% of the odds are on my favor that I will make money. Remember, forex trading is a game of probability, and you only take a trade when the odds are in your favor. And if there are more odds in your favor, or you have more points of confluences, then you'll be able to take your trade. So these are news events that I have a lot of confluences, and I also have a lot of odds on my side. Before we go into this particular news events, or these top 5 news events, the strategy which you would have used to make money from this particular news events is a straddle strategy. Then after the straddle strategy, you would have used the Godlove correctional strategy to also make money. So check the link below, or check the link above, to be able to watch the video on the straddle strategy, so that it will just keep playing in your mind. Anytime you see this type of opportunities, you will just automatically know this is the strategy I would have used. All right, the straddle strategy is already there, and I've already explained to you guys the straddle strategy. Whether the market wants to go up or down, we're going to make money either way, because we have our buy stop above the current market price and our sell stop below the current market price. And it sounds very easy, because it is very easy, but I've simplified everything step by step what you have to do in that particular strategy. So make sure you watch the video on the straddle strategy, then you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about on this particular video. Talking about the NFP, let me share my screen so that some of these steps, I can be able to show you guys some of these steps. Good. Okay, my screen is sharing now. So talking about NFP is the first Friday of every month we had NFP, and last week we have NFP. And talking about the top 5 most important fundamental news events in forex trading, NFP is the first. NFP stands for non-farm payroll. It measures the total number of jobs in the United States out of the agricultural sector. All right, those are non-agricultural jobs, like jobs in like banking jobs, production jobs, transportation jobs. So the total number of jobs in the United States out of the agricultural sector is called the non-farm payroll, and that data is released on the first Friday of every month. Last week we made NFP, and that is the most important, that is the most impactful news event in the entire forex industry. The second one on our list is Canadian dollar employment change. This news event, and the irony when it comes to this particular news event, it is always released at the same time with NFP. If you guys have checked, let me show you guys on my screen. Now let me just go on my screen and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. Let's just go on calendar, and we filtered for last week Friday. Last week Friday should be good. Let's just filter for last week Friday, and we go on apply. Good, you can see this is where we had NFP. Last week Friday, no, the week before that. Let's go back here, and we choose just the 15th. Let's apply. Okay, if you go on let's just go on the calendar, and we go on August the 5th, because that is when we had our NFP, right? You can see here we had NFP, and at the same time we have the employment change for the Canadian dollar. At the same time, at my time, that is 2:30 p.m. Your own time will be different, but investing.com will be able to convert everything. So at my time is 2:30 p.m. and at the same time we are having NFP, we are having employment change for the Canadian dollar at the same time. So you can trade both news events, but the choice of currency is very, very important. If you make a mistake and you choose something like USD CAD, to trade a strategy. You choose something like USD CAD. There is a 99% chance that you will blow your account because you have two fundamental news events affecting both currencies on the currency pair. You have a fundamental news event affecting the United States dollar in that particular currency pair, and at the same time you have a fundamental news event affecting the Canadian dollar on that particular currency pair. So never make a mistake to use something like the United States dollar, Canadian dollar to trade a particular news event when you know there is another news event affecting the counter currency at the same time. That's why you see something like this. You see the news will be released, the market will bounce up and down, trigger both your buy stop and your sell stop, and you blow your account. So you need to be very, very careful. So the second on our list is employment change for the Canadian dollar. So at the same time, if you're not too fast to trade both news events, you can trade just the NFP, or you can trade the employment change for the Canadian dollar. And for the employment change for the Canadian dollar, the recommended currency pair you can use is the Canadian dollar JPY, because the news is only going to be affecting the Canadian dollar, and the quiet currency on that currency pair will be the Japanese yen. So you won't see the market producing whipsaws in opposite direction. The market is going to be unidirectional as soon as the news is released. So those are the top two. The first one is NFP, and the second one is employment change for the Canadian dollar. And unfortunately, most of them are released on the same day and on the same time. So you need to be very careful. If you are trading the NFP, make sure you use currency pairs like Great Britain Pound USD or USD JPY or even gold. Then if you want to trade the Canadian dollar employment change, use currency pairs like Canadian dollar JPY. So that is the second one on our list. Then the third one on our list, let's go back to this particular week. We had the third one on our list was actually this particular week, which is CPI, Consumers Price Index for the United States dollar. All right, that is the third one on our list, the Consumer Price Index for the United States dollar. That particular news event is so powerful. If you check a chart like this particular chart you are seeing, this was, I think this was on Wednesday. This Wednesday that just passed about 2 days ago. And you can see what happened in the market. The market cut into two. This was very volatile. And if we're using something like the strategy, you would have made millions. You would have made millions on all currency pairs that had the United States dollar. Can you see? This is an example of what happened in the market. Can you see how long the candle? Can you see the long ass candle, how long this particular candle is? This candle is the longest candle for the entire month of 2022, or for the entire month of August, except the day where we had the NFP. So that is that, and this candle was because of the CPI. So you have CPI month of month, you have CPI year of year, and the best I would recommend for you to trade is a CPI month of month. Though at the same time, you see they'll release the data for CPI month of month, CPI year of year. And you can still trade this. You can still trade because most of the time, if the CPI year of year, that means the CPI for the entire year. If the CPI year of year is negative, it means the CPI for the month of month is obviously going to be negative. So if you see this anytime you see the CPI, but the most important one is CPI month of month. All right, but if they are all released at the same time, so long as they are CPIs and affecting the same currency pair, which is the United States dollar, you can trade that particular news event. And CPI is one of the most impactful news events I've ever come across, and that comes the third on our list. So after that, the fourth on our list is going to be the retail sales for the Australian dollar. All right, retail sales for the Australian dollar. If you want to find out the retail sales for the Australian dollar, anytime the news is released or anytime you have the news coming up, you can just click on the name and they'll be able to show you guys the full details, what the retail sales for the Canadian dollar or the Australian dollar stands for. But the fourth one on our list is going to be the retail sales for the Australian dollar. And you use the same strategy rules, the same strategy steps, the same strategy risk management rules. That is the fourth one on our list. And the fifth one on our list is going to be the employment change for the New Zealand dollar. That is also very important. Remember, I'm putting them in order of importance or in order of volatility. The currency pairs that will have the highest number of volatility or the highest degree of volatility as soon as that particular news is released. And the higher the volatility, the higher the potential for you to be able to make money with that particular currency pair if you know how to use the strategy and if you know what you are doing. Other people will advise you to stay away from news, but I'll advise you to trade news, but only trade selected news events which I have recommended and selected news events which I have been trading for more than 6 years. And I'll put a strategy for you guys, showing you guys how you can trade the news step by step, and that strategy has gone viral. So those are the top 5 most important fundamental news events in Forex trading, and I'm going to give you guys some bonus points. Remember, I promised you guys at the end of the video I was going to give you guys some bonus points. Some bonus point on our list is going to be the manufacturing PMI, construction, the manufacturing PMI, and the construction PMI for the Great Britain pound. Great Britain pound last Friday on August 12th. You can check on my screen. We had the GDP year of year. We also had the GDP quarter of quarter, like after every 4 months they can release the GDP also. Also, we had the GDP month of month. And these were the 4 news events which you would have traded. Because obviously, if the GDP for the month of month is positive, then there's a high potential that the GDP for the quarter, after every 4 months, the GDP, gross domestic product, is also going to be positive. And for the entire year of 2022, since this is still just the half of the year, there's a high potential this one too is going to be positive. And so long as you see everything green, that is a very good indication that the market is going to take one direction. And anytime you see everything red, like in the case of the United States dollar, where we have the CPI month on month, year of year, and anytime you see everything red, that is a good indication because the market is going to take one direction and either trigger your buy stop or your sell stop. And anytime you see everything green, it means the market is either going to take one direction and trigger just your buy stop or your sell stop. You don't want a situation where the news is released and you see something like this, the market going up, triggering your buy stop, coming down, triggering your sell stop. At the end of the day, the account is blown out. So those are the few tips you need to be able to point out. So that is that about the top 5 fundamental news events in Forex trading and how I trade these news events on a daily basis. So make sure you've watched the strategy, guys. This can be the only strategy you trade in Forex trading because it never fails. All right, it's gone viral and people keep asking me if the strategy is still working, and it's still working till today. I've given you guys about 3 different fundamental strategies on this channel. So go back and watch those videos and you'll be able to understand how to trade the news. And when I've given you guys this selected currency pairs, you can be able to use those steps to be able to trade those selected currency pairs. Make sure you check the link below to join my free Discord community. And if you want to join my inner circle, talk to me one-on-one, want to be my mentee, then check out Godlove University below. Perps Pro is also available now. And make sure you watch the videos that are going to be coming at the end of the screen because those are fundamental trading strategies which you use to trade news like this. Make sure you stay profitable, stay happy, and I'll see you guys on the next videos. Peace.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign.